Welcome to an experience powered by Pipe TV.
The love of our community speaks. Real talks, real solutions.
Welcome, everyone. I'm your host, Marcie Novella. Welcome to the Love of Our Community Speaks. Now, today is a real treat for us because I'm going down to Florida where all these comedians during COVID have comforted me and a lot of my friends and kept us entertained. But Bert Cornelius was the fan favorite. So please welcome Bert Cornelius.
Hey everybody, nice to meet you all. Thank you so much for having me on, Marcie.
Okay, so Bert, like I said, you was the fan favorite. I started the show. Shout out to all the other comedians. What part of Florida are you representing?
I tell people South Florida because I'm from Broward, essentially, and when people come down here, they only want to hear about Miami. But we're the county on top of Miami, so we're Broward. So I'm from Dania Beach, Florida, to be exact. That's literally if you come to the Fort Lauderdale International Airport, that's where the airport is. So that's the first city you see when you fly down here to that airport. So. Born and raised in Dania Beach, Florida. I've also lived in Hollywood, Liberia. I've lived in Fort Lauderdale, different places all around Broward, some spots in Dade as well. So I just tell people that I'm from South Florida to give them an idea of what part I'm from.
Well, I'm very familiar with that. Believe it or not, we have several locations with my family reunion, and I have a large family representing Fort Lauderdale. So shout out
Awesome.
to my family in Fort Lauderdale. So Bert, I want to talk to you about how you became a comedian. Can we start? What year did that begin?
Wow. I've been doing it for about 13 years. So I guess you can say 2012. Um, 2012, 2011, 2012, 2011, 2012. That's when I started. I started being a comedian. It was actually my wife that suggested I turn to stand-up comedy. I grew up a singer. My family, multi-platinum award-winning music group out of Florida, the Cornelius Brothers and Sister Rose. We were, as a second-gen performer in that family, we were essentially groomed to be singers. If you had the voice, that's what you did. If you didn't have the voice, then you did something around music or art of that nature. I guess you can kind of say I'm a bit of the rebel, a wild child, I guess, because around that time, I had literally hanged up my cords. I hung up my cords and my microphone, and I was like, I'm done with the music business. It's not going the way I want it to go. I quit. My wife convinced me to go to an audition with her for a sketch comedy show, and I just wanted to stay around the house. I didn't want to do anything, so I go to the audition, and they end up auditioning me for one of the roles, and I got the role. And from there, one night, a comedian. They used to have comedians that do intermission. A comedian was running late, and my wife stood up and was like, "Well, my husband's a comedian. He's funny." Loosest sense of the term at the time, but she convinced them to let me get on stage and do stand up, and I had never done stand up before. So she comes around to the dressing room. I'm getting ready for the next act. She says, "Never mind that. You're going on stage." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "You're going on stage now." My wife's Caribbean, my wife Haitian, so they could be Caribbean women can be a bit pushy at times. So she grabbed my hand. She brought me out there. She was like, "All right, you next." And then she looks me in the face and goes, "Don't bomb. You can't come home with me if you bomb." And I'm like, "Wait a minute. I didn't sign up for this. And you're telling me if I do bad, I can't ride home in my own car?" But she was dead serious. She was like, "You better go up there and make them laugh." So I went on stage. I was supposed to initially do 3 to 5 minutes. I ended up doing 10 minutes because I was just happy people was laughing and listening to what I had to say. You know, you're a black dad, you talk. Don't too many people pay you attention at times. So I'm just saying stuff that's on my mind. I don't have a setup, a punchline, a premise, or nothing. But I'm talking and everybody's laughing, and I'm just up there like, holy crap, I'm doing stand-up comedy. So from there, I just follow people to open mics, and I just kept working on my craft. And here I am today, 13 years in the game, over 700,000 followers across platforms, and on my second comedy tour starting this year. So I'm not what you would say per se as a household name as of yet. You know, if you got me on social media and you love voiceovers and skits and stuff like that, you've probably seen my work. But for the most part, I'm still growing to hit that upper echelon of comedian where, I can pretty much just write my own checks moving forward. But for right now, it's a humble grind. I'm just excited where my career is taking me.
So thank you, Miss Cornelius, for giving him that push.
Yeah.
Give all praise to her for just throwing you out there because you're naturally funny.
Thank you.
Sometimes I'm talking on the phone with you and I'm already ready to hold my stomach and really, really get a good laugh.
That's what's
And
up.
I noticed with your comedy, you have different types of
Hmm.
comedy. You got clean comedy, you got
Yes.
dirty comedy.
Yes.
What brings you the best joy? Because I've seen your pool of comedians, and your
Hmm.
comedians a lot of times do both clean and dirty.
Absolutely. Whoever's cutting the check, I'm there. Like I don't whoever cutting the check, I'm there. I've done kids' birthday parties. I've done adults' divorce parties. I've done clubs. I've done Christian. I've done Baptist. I've done Catholic. I literally just did a Catholic church about a month ago. Like I know how to adjust my set. I'm not one of those people that say I can do anything, but if I know what type of crowd I'm working with, I have joke sets that kind of fit with every type of crowd because I've had the experience. I know what it is to go into a room where, it's a Caribbean room. Not everybody there is American. Not everybody gets an American point of view. No problem. I got Caribbean jokes. I go into an American room, white American establishment. I know I can't say nothing about Trump because 9 times out of 10 they love him. So I'm gonna leave some of those jokes off of the table. I'm gonna put some other jokes on there. You just as a comedian, you have to be able to adapt to your crowd. Not everything is about you getting your set off.
So,
Sometimes you got to have
so
some things in the holster or work on new material to make people gravitate towards you, make your audience gravitate towards you.
and it's interesting that you said that because I've seen a lot of comedians, they tell the same joke on
Mm-hmm.
every set, and they're
Yep.
not really understanding that. I always said if someone brought their kid in the audience and uh, you're telling jokes, and well, never mind brought their kids, what if you went into the audience and all of a sudden the audience is 100% children? Will you be able to adapt right on the spot?
Yep. That's what you have to. It's a rule of thumb in comedy that you're supposed to write your jokes clean. You write any joke, your setup, your premise, your punchline, write it clean. Then cuss words are like bacon bits to a salad. You know what I mean? Like you don't build a joke off of MF. You build a joke off of the premise. You build a joke off of the setup and the punchline. MF is the seasoning. So a lot of comics, they, they'll constantly run the cuss words, constantly run the cuss words. You have to be able to put those cuss words in. It's subjective. You got to be able to put them in where it matters. You don't want to MF, 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 MF because that means they're not laughing at you. they're laughing at the cuss word. You can go on stage and say the slang word for penis. We already know what it is. I'm not gonna say it because I'm figuring it's a clean show. You can go on stage and say the slang word for penis 3 times within 30 seconds, and at least 5 out of 10 people gonna laugh because it's a funny word. That doesn't mean you as a comedian is making them laugh. That means the word that you've decided to drop every 3 sentences is what's making them laugh. So if you want to be a true comedian, you write your jokes clean and throw in your cuss words when necessary. And that's pretty much how I work my joke sets.
Okay.
Hmm?
So it looks like you really, really uh, own your craft and put in the work.
I
One quick
try.
question before the break.
Hmm.
How do you deal with hackers?
Oh, hecklers, people. Well,
Hacklers,
the
yes.
thing about a heckler is that they want to be a part of the show. If I'm getting paid to do this show, I'm not splitting no money with you at the end of the show. So I'm going to move through my show as if you're not existent. But if you heckle me to the point where the people that are there to see me can't enjoy the show, I have to address you. I've had people. I try to do the ignore thing. My wife would tell me just ignore them. Don't pay them attention. I'd be like, all right, honey, no problem. I ignore them. And there was a point where the young lady, I was ignoring her, and the young lady wanted my attention so bad she jumped up in my face, and my wife had to check her. So
Oh, wow.
there's gonna be times where you can't ignore the hecklers. You just got to be able to. If you're a comedian, you quick on your feet, and you don't be no punk. Don't be soft. They bring it. They talk about your mama. You talk about their mama. You got to be able. You got to be able to be quick on your feet because that's what they're looking for. And if they say something to get your attention, if you're strong enough to ignore it, go for it. But if they start disrupting your show, you gotta address it.
Well, thank you for that. We're going to take a quick break and more time. This is Marcie Novella with Bert Cornelius, the love of our community speaks. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome to the love of our community speaks. Now, Bert, we had the opportunity to talk about your beginnings. Now, where are you now? What are you doing with comedy?
Well, I'm a full-time comedian now. What that means essentially is I'm not working a W-2 position. I am full 1099. So everything I get booked for, hey, had the money right. I was blessed to be able to take that direction in 2023. I started changing up some things I was doing on social media, and then I just happened to go viral for some skits and voiceovers that initially when I started my Instagram account, I had like maybe 1,200 followers or so. And then one day, coming out of a show, I put this video up of me doing a voiceover, and it hit. I got 1 million views in 24 hours, and it just kept rolling and rolling and rolling and going. I've been featured in, some publications. I've been featured on the pages of Snoop Dogg, Timbaland, Big Daddy Kane, Busta Rhymes, Missy Elliott, a bunch of Sherry Shepherd. Sherry follows me. A few other people, D. Ray Davis, a few other people follow me. As of right now on Instagram, I have 252,000 followers and growing. On Facebook, I have 404,000 followers and growing, all organic. I didn't pay for any of them. And you can see that through my numbers because on average, I know I'm talking a little technical, but on average per posting, I do between 20 to 60,000 views a video. So ain't nobody got that type of money to be putting into that. Everything I do is organic. Um, Also, I've started a series called Lionel and Them, where I took the Thundercats and turned it into a parody, where we've got different characters. One of the characters is a breakout character called Badman Mumra. He's the Jamaican version of Mumra, if you're familiar with the Thundercats cartoon. And I do another show called Them Damn Hawks, all verticals that I do on my page that you can go check out at Bert C Comedy and view. Um, Also, this is my second tour. Last year, my tour was Catch Me Be, expletive. And it was spelled out that way because one of my catchphrases is, catch me. and it's a million view catchphrase. And I took it on tour last year, and we were able to sell out some venues, which is cool because after doing comedy for so long, I was able to perform in New York at Rodney's and West Side Comedy Cafe, at Monk's Corner, South Carolina, in Atlanta.
You
I
went
went
to
across the
Monk's Corner?
Yeah, I
You
went to
went to
Monk's
Monk's
Corner.
Corner?
Yes, yeah,
Oh, wow. You didn't
yeah.
tell me that.
Yeah, they like me in Monk's Corner. I'm going back sometime this year. They like me. It was sold out.
Uh,
I was really wild.
That's my home. I'm 12,
Oh,
that's
nice,
12 miles away from there. Home of
nice.
Charlemagne the God.
Oh,
So
okay, nice. I
it's
didn't know
so
that.
nice. Oh,
Yeah,
wow. I
yeah. I
never
was
knew
right over
that
there.
about you.
I forget the name of the hotel, but it was right around the corner from the hotel, and then
There
there's
ain't
like
that many.
yeah, yeah.
I
They don't
said
have
it's
that
not
many.
that many, so
It,
it's
it's
only
the
about
funniest
two or
thing about
three.
Monk's Corner. When we pulled into Monk's Corner, we seen the front of the town first, and like literally almost all the houses were like abandoned, broken down. But the few houses we seen that abandoned and broken down, they had a Trump 2024 flag that was brand new. And I kept saying to myself, I got on stage and I said, "Damn, y'all don't care about y'all property or nothing, but y'all make sure that flag all right." So we kicked it up pretty good out there, and we're coming back for the 2025 to 2026 tour. Tell them what you said. That kicks off in Philly for me. I have two dates in Philly, February 5th and 6th. I forget the name of the venues, but it's on my Facebook at Bert Comedy, so you'll see the venues I'm performing at. And then we've got about 30 dates we're doing for 2026, which is phenomenal because just maybe 3 years ago I was just hoping for an opportunity to feature someone or get picked up by a tour. I'm still, hey, if We the Ones call or somebody tour call, I'm still down with that. But I'm getting out there and getting it on my own, and I'm
Well,
doing comedy completely, which is a blessing.
I'm really happy to hear all of this
Thank you.
because we connected at the beginning of COVID.
Yes, I
So
remember.
you really touched our hearts and gave
Oh,
us laughter during a time where the world was in distress.
yeah, we thought we was all gonna die. I don't know about y'all, but I didn't think I was gonna be.
But I just want to ask you, overall, do you remember the best venue you ever did and the love that you were shown?
Wow. Um, I'm gonna be honest with you. The best venue I've ever done, where they showed me love, and it was just an amazing experience. Um, I'm gonna say Monk's Corner was a really good experience, and not because the venue, because it's just a regular comedy club, but how everyone came to me off stage. It made me feel like that was my moment. That made me feel like, hey, people know me. Like there were people that were coming up to me. I signed a couple autographs. I took pictures, which is wild because I don't personally think I'm at sign an autograph stage, but there's people out there that I guess they think I am. So these people came from a neighboring city, which was like almost an hour out, to see me, and they came up to me and said, "We came here just to see you. We love your videos." They started saying my catchphrases, and I was like, "Wow, that's amazing." The best venue I've done as far as a real comedic experience was the Laugh Factory in LA. That Laugh Factory in LA, think of every comedian you see on a daily basis, every famous comedian you see on a daily basis just walking around being normal. It's an adjustment because the Laugh Factory is one of those places where they're your peers. Like you can be just chilling and Cedric the Entertainer will just walk right by you and grab a beer or something. And I was with TK Kirkland. I worked with him on that show that night. So, being there with him that night and other celebrity comedians, it was an amazing experience for me. It made me feel like I was a part of the big time at that moment. So we're going back there in October. We have a few dates that we're going out there in LA, and we'll be at the Laugh Factory on towards the end of the month in October.
Now, I cannot end this show without
Hmm.
you giving me a skit. Just go ahead and Show people what you're working with.
Ha ha. Marcie told me to sell it. All right. Okay. I'll give y'all a little bit of advice. I tell people all the time. As your parents get older, these kids like to do things where they call themselves parenting their parents or whatever. I learned a valuable lesson when I was younger that my parents are adults and I should mind the business that pay me and they business don't pay me. I'm gonna tell you about a story. I got involved in my mom's dating life because if you don't know, your son, if you're a single mother and you have a son, your son's only ambitions for you, mom, you single moms, is make sure you single forever. We don't want nobody with our mama. We don't care how good he is or what he do. You could tell us this man make coal out of diamonds. We don't care. He need to get up out our living room because that's not our daddy. That's how we behave. That's what it is. We want you to be happy, Mom, but we don't want nobody with you, Mom. It's a double-edged sword, right? So I got involved after my mom and my dad broke up. But I will tell you this: my mama dated one man, a good man. His name was James. All right. And if you're saying to yourself, listening to, just say, "There go James"
Shout
to
out to
yourself.
James.
There you go. That's going to come in real handy at the end of this conversation because James was a good man. I'm talking about good man, old school. He drove a deuce and a quarter with no air conditioning. That's how you know he was dedicated to that deuce and a quarter. And he was like, I ain't putting no new air conditioning in my car. I'm going to roll what GMC gave me. That's how you know he was a good man. He had a biblical name. Ain't no man with a biblical. You ain't get cheated on by John, Paul, David. You ain't get cheated on by Deuteronomy. You got cheated on by Taquan. That's not a biblical name. You know what I'm saying? You got cheated on by Matthew, not Matthew, Matthew and Mark in the Bible. You got cheated on by somebody non-biblical. Okay, if he got a good biblical name like a John or Jesus, that man gonna treat you right, right? James was a good man. My mama didn't like him, and I couldn't figure it out. And the whole neighborhood was in love with James. Me, my brothers, everybody was like, "Yo, James is the man." We started changing our names on the school thing. My last name went from Cornelius to Jones because James was a Jones, and I'm already married into the family. What is you waiting on, Mom? But my mama did not like him, and James was such a good man. My dad liked James. My dad was
Wow.
excited. Yeah, my dad was like, "Man, your mama finally found a good man." And we couldn't believe it, right? So we would tell my dad about the things that James would do. And my dad say, dang, can y'all take me the next time y'all go have fun? No, I'm not taking you. This our lick. Go find your own. But he said one thing to me. He said, your mama gonna mess this up. She always do. So we got involved. We helped James go pick out a ring for my mama. James got on one knee. Old school. They don't do that no more. They propose over Facebook. My James got on one knee and say, I want to marry you. I want to make you and the boys family, put you in a house. I want to take care of you. My mom say, take that ring, take your knee, and get up out my house. Whole neighborhood was devastated. We were so
Wow.
messed up. We was so messed up. We went to my dad for help. We was like, Dad, James done left. We need to get him back. My dad said, come on, we going to his house right now. He coming home to y'all. He put us in the car. My dad took us over. He told my brother, he said, when I knock on the door, make sure you start crying. He practiced with my brother the whole ride there. He would point at my brother. My brother said, on cue. We get to the house, knock. James opened the door. My brother on cue. James. My dad say, come on, man, come home. They some good kids. They just need a good daddy. Please, just come home. James slammed the door in all our face. When I got grown, I finally asked my mama why she didn't want to do that. And my mom's a visual teacher, so she went to the cabinet and she grabbed a can of Vienna sausages and she grabbed a can of potash meat. And she said, son, you hungry? I say, I can go for a little something, man. I'm a little famished. She opened the Vienna sausages, she took one out and she shook it in my face like this. She said, if you was hungry, would this fill you up? I said, no. She said, exactly. There go James. Right there. There go James.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
said, well, what the hell? I said, well, Mom, what is the potash meat for? She said, I'd rather eat that than to be with James.
Oh, I love your storytelling. We're just going to have you come back to the show.
Sure.
And when you come to New York, look up the Love of Our Community Speaks and
We'll do.
Pipe TV. So
We'll
I
do.
want to please tell everybody where they can find you on social media.
At Bert C Comedy. If you love voiceovers and funny skits, I'm the guy with the catchphrases, kung fu whoop a bitch, all that other stuff. That's me. You probably shared some of my videos in your group chat or sent it to your cousin when you're on the toilet, whatever the case may be. That's me. You can follow me at Bert C Comedy, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, wherever. That's where you can find me.
Well, I want to thank you so much for coming to my show.
Absolutely.
And, you have a home here. Please stay in touch and let us know how you're doing. So
Will do, Marcie. Thank you guys so much.
My name is Marcie Novella. This is The Love of Our Community Speaks. Alvin represents, which is 12 miles away from Monk's Corner, by the way. Okay. And I'd like to encourage everyone also to check out my new book. Sorry about that. My new book. It's called Stupidity versus Common Sense, 10 Tips to Land Your First Job. So please tell everybody in Florida about this book and check it out, Bert.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Check it out. Go to Marcia's page. I'm sure she's going to tag it when she puts the video up.
And I want to thank you so much for joining us. And please give your wife our best, because it was her drive that motivates you to be the man you are today.
Absolutely.
Behind every man is a good woman. And your wife was great and made the best decision for you. So give your family my best, and thank you so much for joining us. And
thank y'all for having me.
Time, everyone, Marcie Novella, please follow me on all social media platform. Shout out to everyone in the community of comedy. If you want to come on the show, just reach out to me. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Take care.